Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. How are you doing today? I hope you are all in good health. By the way, I am Rahima Akmad, a third-year Bachelor of Elementary Education student at Mindanao State University, Maguindanao. In this video, I will be discussing the continuation of our Lesson 9 in our module in GED114, which is all about oral language development and grammar awareness, the integration of literature and skills. In the first part of this lesson, we'll learn about reading using the story-based approach and its 4 elements, which we call the PACE, that stands for presentation, attention, co-construct, an explanation, and extension. The reporter also gave us an insight about explicit and implicit grammar instructions. With that, let us move on to the next part of our lesson. This focuses on what is meant by explicit instructions. First and foremost, let us define the word explicit. When we said explicit, informations are stated clearly and in detail, leaving no room for confusion or doubt. In connection to teaching, the teacher is feeding every single detail of the lesson and the learners will just listen but make sure they are learning. Direct grammar instructions are given and the role of the teacher here is quite obvious. In this case, the learners are just accepting knowledge in a passive way. Interaction begins only after explanation of the grammatical structure. But if you are thinking that learners are being spoon-fed with information, it is only because they are practicing the skill of getting an information to skill of using those information. Now, the big question is, what is explicit instructions? Explicit instruction is a systematic instructional approach that includes a set of delivery and design procedures derived from effective schools research. It is a type of approach that follows a certain organized steps, including the way how the teacher teaches and how he or she is going to manage the class. In its simplest meaning, explicit instruction is a form of instruction that is direct and obvious, that every single information is given to the students and they can learn it in the easiest possible way. This idea is supported by what Archer and Hodges stated. According to them, explicit instruction is unambiguous, meaning open to more than one interpretation, clear and definite. It is not doubtful and direct approach to teaching that incorporates instruction design and delivery. In order to be effective, explicit instruction should be systematic, content, design of instruction, relentless, practice, and engaging. In terms of the content, explicit instructions should be systematic. It needs to follow rules and patterns and it needs to be well organized. The instruction focuses on critical content or lesson that is necessary for learners to learn. This content should empower learners to learn skills, strategies, vocabulary terms, concepts, and rules which can help them in future. Another thing is that skills, strategies, and concepts needs to be sequenced logically. In applying explicit instruction, teach first the easier skills before the harder skills. It might overwhelm the learners that can cause them not to learn it. Therefore, apply the basic to complex strategy. Also, make sure to practice high-frequency skills before low-frequency skills. Then, prerequisites first. Make a review or something that can remind them about your topic. Unseparated skills are separated from each other. If you want your learners to develop reading, focus on that skill. If you think that the skills and strategies are not appropriate to the type of learner you have, you can break the lessons into smaller or easy to obtain tasks. For instance, you gave your grade 5 students a task in writing as their final output. You have to consider the following English language arts standards. First, write opinion pieces on topics or texts supporting a point of view with reasons and information. Second, introduce a topic or text clearly. State an opinion and create an organizational structure in which ideas are logically grouped to support the writer's purpose. Third, provide logically ordered reasons that are supported by facts and details. Fourth, link opinion and reasons using words, phrases, and clauses. For example, consequently or specifically. And finally, Provide a concluding statement or section related to the opinion presented. Since you are using a systematized explicit instruction, design of the instruction lesson should have the following characteristics. Number 1, it is organized and focused lessons. Since you are teaching directly, make sure your lesson is clearly and should have a single focused lesson only. Avoid making your lesson jumping from one to another. Number 2, begin with a statement of goals. Just like the usual, you have to set your goal or the learning outcomes of the class. Number 3, provide review of pre-skills and knowledge. You can make an activity where learners will be able to remember and awaken their stock knowledge. As what philosophers believe, a child man is not an empty vessel. The knowledge is there. As a teacher, we only need to awaken it. Number 4, provide step-by-step demonstration. Make a definite lesson plan that can guide you in rendering your lesson. Be sure to avoid confusion as Explicit is known for being far from doubts. Number 5, provide guided and supported practice. Your actions need to have a basis and relevance. Number 6, use clear and concise language. If you think that the learners will not understand the lesson if you use English language, then use the language that everyone can comprehend. Here is one of the guides that can help teachers in practicing explicit instruction. First, we have lesson opening. We have here the attention wherein the teacher is going to get the attention of his or her class. The teacher can use a verbal cue such as listen or we are going to begin. After that, take some silence so that the learners will feel that the class is about to begin and it's time to listen seriously. Next to attention is the review. It is very important to review the previous lesson for the learners not to forget it and for the teacher to know whether the learners learn it or not. Review necessary pre-skills that will be required for the current lesson. Also, try to ask the learners of some motivational question for you to find out whether they have background knowledge about the lesson or not. Finally, make sure that the review is interactive. After the review is the preview. Here, the teacher will state the goal of the lesson that needs to be met at the end of the lesson and preview the activities for the period. Now, let us proceed to the lesson closing. The first step here is the review. Review the skills, strategies, concepts, information taught. Be sure that the review is interactive. Then we have preview. Preview the content that will be taught in the next lesson. Finally, independent work wherein you let the learner work on her own. You can give them assignment, quizzes, projects, or performance tasks that due in the future. Make sure to record all of their assignment. Here is an example on how explicit instructions takes place in the class. First, model. I or the teacher do it. Step 1, show. The teacher will proceed step by step and try to exaggerate the steps. Step 2, tell. The teacher will tell the students what she is doing and will tell the students what she is thinking. Step 3, gain response. Ask them what they already know and let them repeat what you are saying. Second, prompt. This time, both the teacher and the learner will act. It can be a prompt by doing behavior at the same time or prompt verbally. When we said prompt verbally, it means guiding or leading students through the strategy. You can do step, do, and so on. Then gradually stop your prompt and let them do it. Third, check for understanding. This time, only the learners will be involved. Verify students' understanding before giving them independent works. Carefully monitor students' response and continue until students are consistently accurate. Another is explicit instruction of concepts or teaching vocabulary. First, introduce the word to the learners. Provide a student-friendly explanation. The explanation should be basic and easily understood. Illustrate with examples. An example should be familiar to them. Then check for understanding using some activities or evaluation. Another characteristic of an explicit instruction is it is relentless. Relentless means judicious or careful or sensible practice. Here how it is. We have here initial practice. This practice occurs under watchful eye of the teacher. He needs to provide guidance and scaffolding to the learners. It also provides numerous practice opportunities within the teacher-directed lesson to build accuracy and provide immediate feedback after each item. In terms of distributive practice, it pertains to studying or practicing a skill in short sessions over time and distributing practice over time. For cumulative review, it provides intentional review of previously taught skills, strategies, concepts, and vocabulary and knowledge. Each goal is to increase long-term retention. Studying and learning grammar is very important to us, especially nowadays. It should be taught effectively and efficiently. With that, here is some ways to design engaging grammar lessons. Number 1. Combine grammar instruction with appealing new vocabulary words. Number 2. Frame the grammar mini lesson with free writing. Number 3. Emphasize students' interest. Number 4. Use mentor sentences from nostalgic children's books. Number 5. Play grammar games sparingly. Number 6. Show students the building blocks. Number 7. Manipulate the language. And number 8. Tie it to good books. And there you have it. I hope you learned a lot from our discussion. Thank you for watching and stay safe. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.